Being recorded.
I can record.
All right, so you should be able to share, but I guess
We'll see. And you might have to talk a little more for me because I keep getting hoarser and hoarser, and I don't know why.
hoarser and hoarser.
Hoarser and hoarser. And I swear I'm not screaming at nobody, really.
Yeah. That's what they all say.
Yeah. Okay.
And so basically is that if you all completed your activity that you had there, are you going to throw them into groups and let them?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So I don't need to share then. I'll stop sharing because that's what I need to do. I just want to make sure I could share so I can share. And where's the groups? Back to more. Who do we have? We got, because Danielle didn't make it back, did she? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
So
6,
we can do 3 groups of 2.
7. Yeah, 3 groups of 2 will work. Can you do? Are you able to do that, or do I still have to do it?
I think you have to. I don't have any control to do anything.
Okay. Breakout rooms. Assign. Create 3 groups, and you'll get with who you get with. And y'all just need to discuss your answers and why you answered the way you did on all 3 of those questions with each other. It's 1:01. I'll bring you back about 10, 11 minutes after 1 o'clock, and then we'll discuss it on here with everybody. So I'm going to go now. Create. Well, one group's going to be a group of 3.
I think it's trying to put you and I in a group.
Is it? No, I don't see us. It's put you and James.
Because I'm not as a host.
You should have been. Hold it. Let's just stop for a second. Let me go over here and see what's going on here with you. More. Make a host.
There you go.
Okay. Yes. I'm changing the host to you now. So you'll have to share the video. And what am I? More. Okay. So go in and make me co-host, James, since you're the host. And make me co-host, I guess. It should let you on my name. And then I can break them out in their group, or you can break them out in their groups of 2. Yeah, there we go. All right. Now try.
Okay, I don't know where's. I'll
It's
break
at the
out groups.
more. Yeah, it's gone off of mine now since I'm a co-host, so I can't do it. So you can do it.
No,
That's stupid. If you're co-host, you should be able to do everything I'm doing.
It's still trying to assign 7.
Well, then you can do it manually and put 2, 2, 2, and 2.
No, it's still doing 7 participants. No clue why. Well, we'll just see what happens here. So hopefully we're going to go ahead and just create the rooms, 3 groups. One group will be whoever that is. So Tina, you may get thrown along with him.
Yeah, if I do, I'll try to take myself out. Maybe.
All right. So here we go. We're going to send you off.
It's a La La Land.
Oh, now they're going to let me assign.
There you go.
Okay. Assign. Zach. All right. I think it's sending them now.
Okay.
It's slow. I don't quite understand it.
Me either.
It says unassigned 1, and that's you.
Aw.
I didn't assign you.
Jeff's still here.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
He hasn't moved. Well, he should be moved to. He should be in group 1.
Huh. Can you click on the little blue dots on him and see? Larry, he's gone now.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he was supposed to go into group one. I guess his is, must have slow connection or something.
Maybe.
I've never done this in this here, so
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know if we really even need to record right now while they're in their breakout groups. As
Oh, yes. Did I not stop it?
nope.
Can I-
Yes, record me, please.
I'm going to see if it'll let me share. Share screen. Oh, it's opening up. Maybe it will.
Okay.
Okay. Share.
If even if you have yours up and I can talk and
Okay.
you can do all that too, whatever works out.
All right.
So when we talk about this part of this, what we're looking at is getting ourselves ready for what we're about ready to do. So what we're going to be looking at is that when we're making our contacts with our families in home. Now, you all are going to be getting hit on two different things that we're going to be talking about today, and is it tomorrow or next week, or is it just today? Yeah,
Yeah,
today.
next week. Mhm.
Yep. You know, you all are going to be talking about in-home case management. So when we talk about in-home, this is about us trying to do everything we can, working with the families while they're in the home. And then we're going to be shifting to court and then talking about out-of-home case management. And this is when the kids are out of the home, what do we do and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of a difference in what you all do and as in responsibilities, but it's almost similar on the same things you need to do. The only difference is that a lot of people think that when the kids are out of the home, that they don't have to worry about the parents and all that in the home because our focus was on the kids and fixing them, and they kind of forget about the parents. So we're going to be talking about all these and what you all need to be doing here. And so just out of curiosity, I think y'all know this, what's the minimum that you should be at least seeing your families and your kids?
Once a month.
Once a month. All right. So depending on what you have going on in your homes, you all may end up being in that home a little bit more than just once a month. So we talk about, some of the things you all talk about in some of your services. When you talked about your TOLs was when Safe at Home was in there. So when Safe at Home is in there, they have a provider and you and that Safe at Home person will be meeting at least on a weekly basis and talking about what's going on in the case and stuff like that. So you all may be having more contact as necessary with them, but at least once a month we need to sit there and be going out there. So before you all go out there, what are you all going to be preparing for when you go out to do your visit and all that? So let me see, Jeff, what county are you in?
He went to the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
He's
Well,
in He's in Randolph. with
I thought
Tiffany.
I thought that's what Tiffany was said, is that's her code person that's in training there, but also they're in a rural area too. Who else do we have that's who's in the small county?
Jocelyn's in Wood.
Yeah, Wood's not small though.
You don't think that's okay?
I'm in,
Yeah.
I'm in
Mercer.
Wheeler.
Okay, so let me ask this: is that if you, let's say that you live in, and I'll use Wayne or Cobble, and I'll use Wayne. The DHHR office is basically right in Huntington.
Did you say Cobble?
Cobble, yeah.
It's Cabell.
No, it's
Okay.
Cobble. It's actually called Cobble County.
Okay, well, I call it Cabell County.
Yeah,
so-
people call it Cabell, but it's actually, I thought so too, but it's actually Cobble. So
How do you pronounce hurricane?
Hurricane.
Cause it's spelled hurricane, right?
Yep.
And I say hurricane too, cause I know it's hurricane, but
Yeah, we all, you all throw in whatever. Cabell, Cobble. I always throw it
You
out there
gotta
like
watch
that.
out for those rocky roads in Cobble.
Yeah. Well, you go back into there. And all that. So we're going to sit here and talk about it. What I wanted you all to think about is, and since you all probably don't know where the DHHR office there is, it's like split right in Wayne and in Cobble or Cabell right there. But Wayne County, they have to go back over into it in order to go places. Whereas on the Cobble side, most of it's around, Huntington and places like that. So let's say that you're a small area, and you have to go see a family and you run out there and they're not home. And you just spent the last hour traveling out there to it. So what just happens? and all that. You wasted that time going there, and then now you have to come back, and then now you have to reschedule and do all that stuff. So do you all think as part of your preparation that you might want to be scheduling some of your visits? It'd probably help you a lot, saving time and all that. Plus, if you've done what you needed to do, talking with your families, and you've already scheduled with them that when you're going to be coming back out there, they're already going to be aware of when it is. And all that. So you may just want to remind them. And all that. This is one of the biggest issues that I think some workers have when it comes to time management. Because everybody's afraid, oh, how am I going to get all this done when I got to go here, got to go do this, got to go do that. And you just got to work it to where it fits in, and then you're going to do it. But again, if you were going out to a home and you're going to meet with, let's say, a family that has 6 people in it, should you really be making plans to do much of anything else that day? How long is it going to take you to meet with your family?
However long it takes.
Mhm.
6
Like
people though.
So you look at it, we got 6 people. So that means we only get 10 minutes per person, right? Because I got to get going.
So how do we accomplish that if we've got an extremely high caseload?
Well, you got to prioritize. And so if you're out there, and this may be where your supervisors and all them will be going into all that. Okay. So let's say you go out there to the home, and let's say you have to go out to Huntinsville. That's pretty far out.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's what from Elkins is about what? An
Half hour.
Okay. Or
Valley
if you,
Head,
okay,
that's an hour.
you go out there, or let's say that you have to go back into Pickens or, any of those areas.
Dry
that's back
Fork.
yeah. In those areas that are that far away. So let's say that you got multiple families along the way. In this family, you got this many, this family, you got this many, and you can make that same thing, but you're going to have to schedule your times. And so you're going to have to talk with your supervisor about, hey, can I adjust my work schedule to where I can, if one family is going to be home at 12, I can go out there and hit all that. And then by the other family may come home later that evening, and then you can go out there and talk with them. So it's about working your schedule, getting permission from your supervisors, maybe if DB overtime and all that, which is a sin. So don't try to do that if you don't have to. I'm not saying that it's not, but either way. So you're just going to be making those preparations, getting yourselves ready to go through that. So again, what you're wanting to do is you want to give yourself the opportunity to be successful and give your families that opportunity to be successful with the time that you have. Because remember, they're giving up their time too. And there's nothing, I've actually had people where they sit there and they would go out there and then they ended up having to coming back because the family had other plans and like doctor's appointments and stuff like that. And so they couldn't just sit there and wait, and get all that done. So they had to come back. So, and I think part of it too, when you take us and you include your families and you talk to them about when are they available and doing all that stuff, it's kind of showing them the same thing as what you might want to be shown, which is that respect side. Is that, hey, your time is important. I understand that, and mine is too. And they're not feeling as if they're just, a puppet on a string where you're just dangling them and doing all those things. So you want to make sure you get yourself there, and depending on what you're going to be doing. So remember, when we talk about this and you're going out to that home, what's the purpose why are you going out to the home?
To
You
assess.
well, that's part of what you're going to be doing, right? You're going to be doing your safety checks and all those. But I mean, that's the whole point of everything you all been doing to this point. That's what we're going to be doing now. Because when we have a case plan in place, you probably should take your case plan with you and go over it with your family and talk about how those services are going, how things are happening and all that. Your safety plan, you all should be having that with you to go over it. So if by chance you do have a safety plan, you should be making sure that it's being met and doing all that. So you need to be checking all these things to see and getting yourself prepared for there. Weather could be a factor too. Some of those areas where some of you all live, it can in a minute change from good weather to bad weather in a heartbeat. So also be considerate too, because kids right now, it's summertime. So everybody thinks, hey, they're not in school. So I can just run out to the home and I can just meet with my families. And then all of a sudden you get out there and you find out, what are these kids usually doing during the summers?
Sleeping
It could be
till 3 o'clock.
Playing
Then
some-
outside.
Some,
And they're out with their
Vacation.
friends the rest of the day.
so some are maybe running around, right?
Mhm.
Or
Might be on vacation.
could be on vacation. Or what about sporting events? Isn't there like these summer softball and baseball leagues like AAU and VFW and
Joe Elio.
those? And or you got kids maybe if they're in summer school and they're undergoing some of those programs and stuff
For
like that.
day
So,
camp.
or day camp. Or what if they went to camp?
Yeah, the YMCA stuff.
So again, just making sure that everything is there, that you're looking at it and you're doing it. And we're not playing gotcha. I think this is what some people do. Now, if you have some concerns about something, obviously, and you want to go out and see it, if it's true or not, then you may just pop in and say, hey, but most of the time, if we're doing what we need to be doing, our providers are in the home and they're doing, because they're also helping us assess what's happening and what's going on. So we should have an idea what's going on. So this isn't about popping in just to say, hey, I got you. I'm trying to catch you in the middle of something or anything like that. So we can call in advance and make those arrangements to say, hey, just a reminder, is it okay if I still come out here at this time, during this one? And they can, well, sorry, I mean, I've got a doctor's appointment now and stuff like that. Well, and here's where that time management comes in, because now instead of wasting all that time that you would have on that one driving and doing all that, now you can schedule something else to fill that slot. And then you can be dealing with that. So just keep that in mind when we're talking about this, make sure that we're doing this. So I know youth services, I've talked about them is that usually before I leave, I want to make sure that I schedule a next appointment. So that way everybody knows when and what to expect and stuff like that. So here's some of the things that you're going to be doing. And again, we talk about contacting our providers. Why is it important for you to talk to these providers?
To ensure that they're providing the services that they should be providing.
Most people don't look at it that way there, Jeff. Most people think, well, hey, I'm just out there to make sure that the family is doing all these things. But should we also not be assessing whether our providers are being effective in what we're asking them to do? So that's the twist usually most people don't look at. And I've had providers before where I've had to sit there and say, we no longer require your assistance in this. And I shut them out because they weren't being effective in what they were supposed to be doing. So the next one, we talk about identify. Again, people come out there, they're going to go talk to the families, and some workers will sit there and they will only fixate on what was not done. That's all their concern is. What wasn't done, and they miss the moments of having that kumbaya moment with your families to say, hey, what a great job you're doing, being that proactive, leading them to the point, and you continually give them hope instead of always being beat up or something like that. So we're going to be looking at what the issues are, and then talking with them about what are the concerns that we still have, and then moving it from there. That's where your case evaluation process comes in anyway, is that we put stuff into place. Then we're going to turn around and evaluate it to see, is it doing it? And if it is, then we're going to be working towards it. If not, then we're going to be doing what is necessary for it. And all that. So we look at all these here, during this preparation phase here, you all should be looking at your past contacts in facts. Again, if you looked at and did what you were supposed to have done and you documented it, then it did occur. But if you go into facts and it did not go and there's nothing in it, then guess what? You are no go at this station. And then again, you're going to be kind of like the same thing that goes on with a lot of workers, which is documentation is our Achilles heel. We go out and do the work, but then we don't document it to give ourselves credit for what we do. And then all of a sudden a CFSR comes along, and then workers are scrambling to throw stuff into the system to say that they've done these things. And kind of, if I was an attorney or something like that, I'd be saying, wait, it looks like somebody's doctored these records a little bit here, because your dates and stuff don't match up and all that. So, but either way, We need to be looking at it though, and we're going to be taking a look at what was going on, because again, we got a lot of cases that we go through. So we don't want to jarble our families up. So you can review to see what the state of the family was beforehand. And then when you go out there, you can see, is it the same? You know, because you may need to make some adjustments or whatever that when it comes to that. So we're going to be looking at what's going on during this time frame here. So our documentation, we're going to be looking at it. Again, most of your all's providers, whether it's ASO provider or a therapist or any of those people, they should be providing you monthly summaries regarding stuff that's been going on, of the services they've been providing. Okay, they're not going to give you all the bread and butter of everything that's going on, but they're going to be basically telling you what's been happening, if there's been any issues, anything they've addressed, you know, and what the progress is. So that's why those reports are very important that you all get beforehand, because you go to the home and you're like, hey, how's everything going? The family says good. And then you go back out and then you come back and you get your reports from your providers and they give you the complete opposite. What do you got to do now? You got to turn around and go right back out and readdress that now, don't you? So there's some wasted time in between. So you all can get your information and all that, and make sure you get your providers, and if that, you know, give them a call. And because sometimes I've had it to where getting paperwork from my providers was almost impossible in a timely fashion. So I'd call them up and all that too. But I mean, you want to be careful, because sometimes I've had documentation that come that surprised me that never came out. So that's why it's important for you all to maintain contact with your providers, you know, at least I would say on a weekly basis, just so that you have an idea of what's going on. You know, so what are you going to be reviewing during this time frame here is that you're going to be looking at whether the provider has specifically done during that time frame. So whoever it is that you have in there, you're going to be looking at that. How did they respond to it? And when I say they, how did the family respond to the services that were put in place, you know, or to the providers? Whenever we talk about the frequency of the services, sometimes we may go in there and we may have it, you know, I've always been told it's easier to come in hard and then lessen up as you go through. Some people want to go in soft and then come back and then try to put more services in place, depending on whatever is going on. So you want to be looking at the frequency of when these are occurring. Is it occurring enough? Is it not? To see if there's a need for it. Again, this is you all tinkering with what you're trying to make a determination is. You know, are they achieving the goals that we put in place? Again, you're going to be getting that information from some of your providers, but also from your families. When they talk with you and you talk with them, you're going to hear them talk about this, and they're going to give you information as to whether they've you know, slid back into their old ways, or if they've kind of you know, have actually stood and actually you know, kept going with the goals that were put into place. Again, some of the other things we may want to be looking at is potential barriers. You know, we should always be evaluating this. Again, sometimes I've had it before where families, all of a sudden somebody new pops up into the house. Maybe it was grandma or grandpa or uncle, or maybe it was just somebody off the street or something like that, that upsets that whole apple cart that's going on. And then so we have to look at that and say, okay, or is there other barriers? Like, you know, we had service providers in place, you know, and now they're no longer able to provide that service. Maybe their therapist left and they don't have anyone to do it. Or, you know, what if there's something else going on that we're just quite not knowing what it is? Maybe we need to have a more in-depth evaluation to help us better understand this. So there could be any of those things that could occur during this time frame that would could prevent them from going and making that. And unfortunately, one of the barriers that we won't document and put on our records is when the worker themselves are the barrier. And not meeting with the families, not working with them, and doing all those things. So of course we don't want to be that barrier, but that can be one too. You know, commitments, working with us and all that. Again, we're going to be, when we talk about reevaluating the safety plans and doing all those things, we want to make sure that those safety things that we have in place are still committed to doing what they're said they were doing. Can the providers and all them still do what they're supposed to be doing? Because, you know, sometimes the ASO, they may take on more cases than what they should have. And the next thing you know, your cases or maybe your family right there is getting the short end of the stick, so to say, when it comes to getting the assistance and stuff like that, that needs to. So we need to be looking at that. And then ultimately, the last thing I always tell people ever before I leave a home, the last thing I always ask myself is, will these kids be safe, or will this family be safe? You know, and if before I leave at home and something is still tickling in my head that something's not setting right, then I want to try to understand, why do I feel this way? What's making me feel this way? Maybe I need to come call my supervisor and say, hey, this is what's going on here. And I want to understand this and go from there. So, but again, you can be prepping for these type things, and you're going to be looking at it based off of the information you have. Because if by chance, like Tiffany, I think the example that you gave where the kid was being moved, the court ordered them into somewhere and stuff like that. So safety during that time frame was already assumed because the court went ahead and placed the kid. But what I forgot to ask you was, was there even a walkthrough of the home to even see if that home was appropriate for the kid?
You mean for the case plan that I reviewed?
Yeah.
Yeah, there had been a walkthrough in the home, and actually I talked to the worker, and when he had printed out that case plan, he pulled it off of his Y drive, and he had the full PDF version with all the signed everything and
Okay.
the fast and everything
Good.
in his documents. So
Good. And so that makes that easier. I mean, again, with having that, it just gives more justification for the work that's been done and all those things. So, okay. So here's the thing is that sometimes during the course of this time, we kind of have an idea of how our cases are flowing and what's happening during those and stuff like that. So, but we still want to make sure that we get this information to help us better understand it. Some of the things that they say here is that maybe part of what you all can do is identify some strengths of the family that you can talk with. Again, going out there, doing it. I have actually sat through some here lately of some competency testing of other people who's done competency testing. And I have actually seen workers become or being more empathetic and stuff like that, being able to point out the strengths of their families and doing all that. And that's, for some people that's natural. Other people, they have a hard time because people are fixated on what's gone wrong. So just think about those. What are some of the strengths that the family's done and that you can talk with them about, point it out to them. So that way, that it leads to your discussion. And so then when you have to transition and talk about, okay, what are some of the things that we now need to focus on? So you're getting yourself available. And then the last one, they talk about this agenda. That's kind of what I've been hitting on all along, is getting yourself ready for, what are you going out there talking to them about? What's your purpose of going out there? Why are you going out there? What are you supposed to be looking at, and getting yourself there and talking with them. So again, we can make modifications. Sometimes I will even call the family and say, hey, I've even told them, is if you have any questions, write them down. And that way when we come back together and we talk, then we can explore those. Now, a lot of these too is we can do this. Some of these here are going to actually be done during an MDT, our multidisciplinary team meetings that we have. Is when we do our case evaluations, we're going to be looking at that. But we're just talking right now about just going out to the home, and you all are just going to be looking at, when you're doing your monthly contact, some of the things that you can be doing and to get yourself ready to be looking at some of this, making sure that you keep in mind the permanency, safety, and the well-being in there, because that's what you're going to be reviewing. So again, our visits that we have with the family is that when we make that preparation and stuff like that, is that this isn't about us being friends with our family. Okay. Some people and some of our families sometimes will cross that line or feel like, hey, we're buddies and all that. So we need to also make sure that we maintain that, what's going on. So this is about us to have that moment and that time with them to talk about what their case is going on, what's happening with their kids, what's happening with them, and doing all that. So we're, again, making sure that even though that we're on a even playing field when we talk about this here, we're lowering our authority and working with our families, but we're also wanting them to make sure that they also understand that when we need to, we can take that step up and, be, what's the word I want to say?
Wanna be,
Yeah. But, be able to be authoritative when we need to be.
thought,
Okay. So, so if we've done all of the appropriate planning and all that we have, we should be able to help our families meet the goals that we've set forth with them. So again, this is about you all taking that time, understanding, see what's going on, and you're kind of perusing, having an understanding of it, and then you can go talk to your families and say, okay, here's where we at. So here's what you all are going to do right here.
and I already emailed the preparing for home visit form and the milestones for kids online resource to everybody. You can put them in groups or however you want them to do it, James, but I've already emailed everybody both those forms, and then the activity is on the screen.
Okay.
The scenario or vignette.
So based off of what you all have there is what you all are going to be doing. It's kind of like what we just talked about. You're going to be coming up with some agenda topics that's going to be related to permanency, safety, and well-being. Now, remember, those three things mean three different things. Okay, so we're going to see, are you all able to think about all this? What are you needing to review and talk to your families about when it comes to those? So Tina's already emailed you those forms here. So this is a vignette that you all are going to have. And when you all are done with this, and I guess what we'll do is we'll bring everybody back together. So let's see if I can break out the groups again. So we need to move people around.
Yeah, move some people around.
Yeah. So move. Alrighty, let's see how this does. So we're going to open all the rooms. You all will go, and this says it's about a 40-minute exercise, but I think what will probably take about 25-30 minutes, something like that, to do, and then we'll bring everybody back together, and we'll kind of have like you see how you all broke it all out and stuff like that.
About
So-
2:30, you'll bring them back. Is it what you're?
Yeah, I don't have a.
Because it's 1:58 right now. It's almost exactly 2.
Okay, so yeah, that'll give them about 30 minutes to work on it and all that.
Okay.
And if we get done sooner, then we'll break everybody back and come back sooner than that. All right, so here we go. Let's see how these groups match up this time. For whatever reason, it takes a while for them to go. So I got,
Jeff and Patrick still here.
yeah, they're going to
goes
slowly
Jeff.
go.
Yeah, they're slow to go.
I don't know. I've never, like I said, this is slow.
I don't know if they're together in a group or they're
No,
just
they
slow
weren't.
getting into a group.
Yeah, it's sending them over into their group. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they need to click on join the group or whatever that closed, because usually it'll tell them, hey, you're going to be going to this group in 40 seconds or something. So maybe if people don't do that. So Patrick, I think he either went to go get whatever he printed off or whatever, but he and Jocelyn are going to be together. Jeff
Okay.
and Zach are going to be together, and Sarah and Tiffany are going to be together.
Okay.
Just
I have a feeling that since we end at 3, that when they come back at 2:30, they'll probably, we might get through slide 20, but I'm not sure by the time at 3. And we're not going to do evals. Paul says he thinks that we could do them on
Monday.
Monday.
when
Yeah.
we come back. It makes sense.
Okay.
So it'd be whatever. Just tell Paul, whatever. I do whatever.
Yep. End
Yeah.
at slide.
Patrick still hasn't joined. So let me just move him.
Well, he's
to-
not there, maybe because I don't see him sitting there. So if he does have to hit something, that's probably why.
Yeah. Well, but by then it should send him. Jocelyn is probably sitting there like, who am I talking to?
Oh, Lord.
So
I'm gonna go ahead and get the sign-in sheet ready then while they're working
Well,
on that.
yeah, I have my sign-in sheet done that I did for the youth services. So
Uh-huh.
here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to leave my 2 people on it, and I'm going to put you on the secondary and have you on today of doing this training. And I'm already got my other people there, and then you can do yours and kind of like what I have.
Okay.
And that way we don't have to try to do, because we were mostly apart except for today. Now, Patrick,
Okay.
I don't know why you haven't joined yet, buddy. Yeah, I guess they do have to hit that. Okay. So we'll give them a little bit to do their thingamajigger and all that. And I wonder if they got this here. Did you send them this activity?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, they have to look at the activity on the screen. I mean,
But if they're in their groups, they can't see this.
oh, well, I mean, there's no way for me to give them that unless I copy and paste it in a Word document or something.
See if you can do that.
I thought maybe they would have took a picture of it because we said
Yeah.
you got to have this.
Most of them probably didn't even think about it. But yeah, I was just trying to sit there and see if I could do it.
The only
and
thing
then
they give you is the Classroom Notebook 2, preparing for a home visit, and then online
see
resource.
if you can take it and copy that and put it into the chat,
Trying.
because it won't let me do that. You may have to go into, I don't know.
No. Go back. Yeah, it's not gonna let me because it's on a PowerPoint. So
Yeah. All right. Well,
let me
don't-
see if I can go to the. Let me see. If I hit escape. Let's see if it'll let me do it that way without it being. Ooh, yeah. There we go.
I was going to go into the original one and see if I could,
Copy, but I'm gonna have to stop sharing maybe.
I don't know, just go to the chat and put it in the chat box.
Where is chat?
Should be down at the bottom.
More. Pause. No, because where I only have a little box, my mute video security participants, new share, pause share, and annotate remote control.
I have no clue what you're even looking at because I don't
So
even
look,
see
my
this.
bottom bar is at the top of my screen now where I was sharing. So I'm trying to figure out how to stop sharing so I can paste this in the chat box because my chat box is not showing up. What is this? No. All right, stop sharing. There we go. And now here's the chat box. And let me do to everybody. Paste. There it is.
Just let them know that's their activity. All right. Well, while they're doing that,
And they see the chat box from their.
they should. Yep. From their breakout groups. What do you think about that? I'm glad I'm not down there, but what do you think about that condo in Miami just falling down?
That's crazy. And they said that they're saying that it had been sinking for I don't know how long. Well, if it's sinking, shouldn't somebody have been trying to do something about it, or telling people they need to move, or
Well, you would think that that would be a sign of a sinkhole or something.
maybe, yeah.
But
Crazy.
you know, what do I know though? I mean,
There's still 99. Well, this morning there were still 99 people unaccounted for.
I just saw another one that says 150 missing.
Oh, now it's 150 missing. Okay.
Yeah, 4 dead now.
Yeah, it was 4 dead this morning.
Yeah.
But 2 dead. I think I heard 150, and then it switched to the other news on ABC or whatever, and then they said 99 missing. I said, well, boy, that was quick. Went from that to that fast.
Yeah. I had a buddy that was trying to make an argument about, infrastructure and all this other stuff. And I said, well, I don't know. I mean, because some of those states have federal infrastructure. And I said, okay. But I said, each one of these entities are given money in order to upkeep of certain infrastructures and stuff like that. And then, so they wanted to play that little game, and they wanted to blame, they kept wanting to say 45, like Trump was this. So I just sat there and said, what about 44, 43, and 42? why didn't they give money to those infrastructures and all that too? So, but people get so fixated on wanting to blame this person, that person, and all
Yeah.
that instead of, hey, you know what? It's been a complete breakdown of all. So I don't know.
It's crazy.
Well, I guess we're
I
still
think almost all
recording.
those people were Cuban too, weren't they?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything. I guess you can stop recording while they're in there.
I guess. I don't know what we should or should not do when it comes to recording because I'm afraid, well, they're in there, so maybe we should record because they're in their thing, so they show they are working these minutes.
Oh, well.
So I don't know. I don't know what.
Well, I
to
mean,
do.
it'll. Oh, it's
Sorry.
like, wow.
We forgot to start recording when they came back.
Oh, well, hey, we're almost done now.
I know.
Okay, so when we get into here, so when we talk about foster care candidacy, it's a contract between the worker and either for youth services, that juvenile that you're working with, or CPS with that family that you all are working with here. And it's going to, remember that case plan I was telling you all about in that new blurbs. What I like about this new case plan is one of that blurbs is they have that foster care candidacy. The first thing they have is we, as the parent and child, had input into this plan, so we can't sit there and say that the workers forced us into this, that this is all the workers. This is a joint plan. That was the first thing. Hey, we had our input into it. Second part of it is there's a blurb that says we understand if by a chance if we don't comply with this plan, or if we something doesn't work or something like that, that it could result in a child being removed from the home. So again, that is them being aware of what can occur to them. And this is us not, and again, we're not trying to hide anything. We're not trying to do anything. We're trying to be real with them. Because sometimes families will sit there and not want to do anything up until the very end, and it may be too late by that time. So we're being honest with them. We're just saying, hey, look, you have a right to do this, but you also have a right to understand what may happen if these things don't occur.
Okay.
So as we go through this and here, you're all going to be looking at it here. If you all look at your policies in there, I think CPS in yours, it's 5.12.1 and youth services is 6.2. And this is about ways that our case plans have met the goals laid out in, so that if kids have to be removed from there. So our policy mandates it's our responsibility as the workers. In the case where we're making monthly face-to-face response with our visits with our families, or if we need to, weekly. And I've had cases like that before. When we're trying to put these services into place in order to try to prevent these kids from being removed from the home. So as we move forward in learning about this case management and stuff like that, we're going to keep in mind that what's the word I want to say? We expect our families to do the things as to what we put into these plans here. But what about making sure that we also hold ourselves accountable for the same thing?
Yes.
So we're asking our families to do this. Should we not be following through and doing the part that we need to be doing also when it comes to these services and stuff like that?
Amen. Yep.
All righty. Anything else there?
No, the next thing is an activity, but we can do that Monday.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of didn't want to start something. And
Yeah, we'll do it Monday.
I don't know. How much time do we have? Can we do the guided imagery?
It's
We
a
got
10, it
format
says
it.
10 minutes. I only got 4. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's not going to be enough. All righty. Well, during this time, does anybody have any questions or anything? I mean, I know that we're switching gears. We've talked about the case planning on it. Now we're kind of shifting because we're going into case management and on it. So remember, case planning, case management's different when it comes to what you all do. And then, so now we're actually shifting to what you all are going to be doing long-term as your workers. So we're going to be talking about this, the court, in and home, out of home care, and all that. When foster care is what out of home care is. And then we're going to be going into documentation. So you all are, I guess right now in the apex of your training. You know, so I guess you could say that you're almost over getting to the top of the hump and now you're working your way down. So is there anything that's been said up until this point that anybody have any questions about? Need any clarifications on or anything like that?
I just
If,
wondered if,
go ahead, go
sorry,
ahead.
can I go? Thank you. Monday, do we get in through Blackboard, Tina?
Uh, it's supposed, it's supposed to be up and running on Monday again, and then you'll go to the link that says in-home case management. But if I'm at work at 8, so I'm hoping to find out if there's any glitches, and if there is, and we can't use it, we'll try to get another Zoom link and get it emailed to you to go to. But
Okay, thank you.
yeah, so hopefully we can go to Blackboard Monday and go straight to in-home case management weeks. I think it's 7, 8, 9, something like that.
Yeah. So as of right now, the plan is that we're going to be back in Blackboard
Mhm.
unless they don't fix it by that time. So, and if we're a little bit late getting started, then, Tina will get the link out to everybody and we'll start whenever we get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But try to go into Blackboard first. All right.
Yes.
Now, Jeff, you had a question?
Yeah, I was just curious with I know with CPS and youth workers, we have a high turnover rate. If a county office ever loses like so many workers in a certain amount of time, or do they have is that considered like in crisis, or do they ever have to like shuffle caseworkers around?
Yeah.
Depends. If you're in a district usually share workers and all that. If you have no workers in your county, probably that region will end up getting somebody to cover until they can get it filled. They could bring crisis worker in, but usually crisis workers come in only to clear like the
Backlog.
or the FFAs and stuff like that.
Which is initial assessments, Jeff,
Right.
now. Yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes they'll come from, like we have Joe Sorrent that retired. He comes in and does crisis for Fayette County. I know at one point when I was still a supervisor, they pulled me and Kendra as supervisors, and we had to help Kanawha County with their backlog of their FFAs and stuff.
I think all regions had
Yeah.
to do that. Every region had workers pulled in, because I remember as a supervisor, I had to go down there and we had to go through Kanawha's backlog. And I think at that time it was like 600 and
It was
some
bad.
referrals for
Yeah.
that. And we had to go through and see which ones were the most important. So I was one of the supervisors that was going through screening that and all that. And I had several of them that said that like the child was already born and had drugs in the system and all that. And this referral was still sitting there and it had no action. It would just happen to be that somebody actually went out on it. So that was good. The only problem was that referral just kind of sat there like no action was going on.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and Jeff, in Randolph, a lot of times the youth service workers are put on as secondaries for CPS and help out with the monthly visits.
As long as you're part of knowing what's going on, and it shouldn't be just doing visits, but if they're
Well,
having
yeah.
you do visits,
Yeah,
it should be
but-
part of it. So you got Sarah who's jumping over from youth services and wanting to become, she wants to grow up and become a CPS worker. Either that or she went to the dark side. I think that's what we call that.
Yeah, the dark side.
So,
Yeah, I just want to learn more.
hey, we're always learning. And all that. So we'll just see what happens. But as of right now, just go ahead and prepare for coming in on this on Monday through the Blackboard Zoom link. And if that doesn't work, we'll get you out something there. If you all think about anything, take notes or write down any questions y'all may have.
Yes.
If you think about them, and then, if Tina and I can answer them, we will. If not, we'll find somebody who can. I mean, this is the whole point about the learning process. It's best for you all to do that, ask your questions and, do all those things here and all that. So beyond that, so Jocelyn, don't go out and beat nobody up. Okay.
Right.
Is it your weekend and all that? Patrick's going to sit down there. I don't know what you're going to do, Patrick, now that the Jags are sitting there at home.
I'm taking the boat out tonight.
Oh, see,
Ah.
there you go. So, and I don't know, Jeff, I don't know what you do for fun. And
Well, since I have a 13-year-old to support and raise, it generally at my second job.
yeah, I remember you saying that you had a second job, so that's always fun.
Yeah.
And Zach, what do you do? What do you do for fun?
Spend time with my wife.
Oh, yeah, you got to do that. You're
I'm
trying to
probably
get.
gonna, probably gonna try and go golfing at least once this weekend.
Yeah,
I
there you go.
hear you.
So
You gotta
there you
go
go.
golfing, Zach.
Hey, you all enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your weekend. This is your time to disengage. Clear your minds. Get yourself back up and stuff like that. And we'll be back at it on Monday. All right. See y'all.
Bye.
You going fishing, James?
Going to try to. One way or the other. If I have to go drive myself out to the lake somewhere and go sit on the bank, I'll do that.
I hear you. Y'all
I
have a
bought
good
my
one.
license. I might as well use them.
Oh, Lord. Oh.
Yep. All right, Tina, I guess if there's nothing else, then we'll see where Monday leads to.
Okay, I was just going to ask you one question. I see you have something in the back of behind your head.
Yeah.
Okay, how did you create that? Because I went down here.
I just took a picture of it and sent it to my email, and then you can save it to your backdrop.
Because when I go to the video, and they always say you can choose your virtual background and filter.
I think that's what you
there's
do.
nothing for me to choose.
Well, I think because I saved that one into it, so it says life is
Ah.
like a camera, focus on what's important, capture the good times, develop from the negative, and if things don't work out, take another shot. So just something I didn't know if people could see it or not. when
Not
it's there,
all
but-
of it. You can see focus on what's important, capture the good times, develop from the negatives, and if. And then
Don't
the rest
work.
of it's cut. The rest of it's cut
Oh.
off. And
All
the
right, well, then
12
I'll have to try to figure out how to make that to where people can see it. But
Yeah.
I just little things like that I do. I mean, I switch my picture up sometimes.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I
I'll-
seen Jonathan had fire and then he had waves. I'm like, where are they
Yeah.
getting all these at? Because I can't
You
get
just-
mine to work.
You just got to go find you a picture, like whatever. You can save it to your pictures and on your or your computer,
Uh-huh.
and then from there, when you go into your thing, then you can bring it over. So this is what I've had in there when we did our Zoom meetings beforehand.
Uh-huh.
This is where I went because I went down here to the stop video settings, and then when you go to your background and filters.
Uh-huh.
So you see down there where it says stop video in that arrow that goes up, and then click on your video settings,
Video
then-
settings.
and then click background and filters. Do you
Okay.
have any in there?
No, it says virtual backgrounds, none. Video filters. If I click on that, it just says try our new filters. But how do you try their new filters? Because I don't.
Ah. I don't know, but see, here's another one that I had in mind. This is one of my favorite. This is what I actually used to do in the military.
Ah.
Repel out helicopters.
Oh gosh.
Fun. We would be inserted into
Uh,
enemy territory, and we would go in like that.
Oh, okay, nice.
So, but I can change it up and all that. So if I want it to be more serene, and
I mean, how did you save it into that virtual background though?
I just went in on my desktop. I put it into my, all right, here's all you have to do is you can go to your your computer, and you go online and you can find something that you like, and then you can just like take a pic or a snapshot of it, and then you can save it over into your directory on your computer. Let me see. If you go down here, down to your thing, and then you go into it where it says pictures, and then you can add pictures there.
Okay.
You can do any kinds of things if you want to. It's just a matter of what it is. I just saw that one there and I thought, okay, hey, I like this one because again, this is something that I saw when I was overseas.
Yeah, I like that.
So, but it kind of gives that serene. So if I,
My son went to India for Amazon. Again, he's been there like three times. He said it's so miserable in India.
Yeah, it's nasty there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just an overcrowded sanitation and places like that just isn't great. But I mean, it could be worse. You could go to Bangladesh.
What happens there?
It's just dirty again. Millions of people in a small area,
Oh,
and there's just not enough infrastructure
sure,
to
room. Okay.
handle. It's like going into a slum area. If you've ever seen
Gotcha.
any of those,
Like
like in South
Detroit.
America.
Like in Detroit.
I was going to say like South America, but okay.
Okay.
But Detroit, I guess, if you look at it, it's starting to become a slum.
It is.
I call it more of a ghetto than I do anything up
Oh,
there.
the ghetto. Yeah.
But I stay away from there because people are getting killed. They're just shooting people left and right up there. People
Yeah.
just driving along and they're getting shot. So it's like, I
Mm.
was going to take one of my old friends and try to go up to Wrigley Field and the Comiskey Park and take him to the ballpark because that's what he likes.
Right. Yeah.
I ain't going up there if they're going to be shooting me.
No, in Memphis, because I was born in Memphis, and we went a couple of years ago and took the mothers to Graceland, and I lived actually not even 5 minutes probably from Graceland growing up, and we drove past the house I was born in, where I was born at, and lived till I was almost 5 years old, and when we left, it was turning bad there. It was a nice neighborhood, and that's why I guess we moved and left. But it's like the ghetto now. I mean, the streets, it's got graffiti as you drive to it. I mean, you can't believe that Graceland is in the mid. This nice big place is in the middle. On the outskirts is all ghetto trash. Laying around.
That's what happens. I mean, I've been there. I had to go down there for a training for the military in Millington, Tennessee. So it's right there, right by Memphis. There's a Navy base there. I had to go there for a training that they did.